First of all, can I say that I am extremely surprised that Agüero actually debuted? Like, I thought that he was going to be one of those signings that we were never going to see on the pitch live, and it actually happened. So I'm very happy because of that. I must admit. I really, really must admit. What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis here, and welcome to a strange episode of our Unwrapped series. And that is because, well, we are here live from Atlanta, USA. Yes, I'm in the United States of America. And that is because um, I need to travel then to the UK so that I can graduate and do all of that. So indeed, yeah, that's the place. People say this guy is filming at his grandma's place. It's not my grandma's place, but it looks like it, right? It kind of looks like it. It kind of looks like it. But but this is not my usual place. This is not my usual place. So look, I'm gonna show you where I'm at. This is, let me see if I can actually show you. Uh, I'm like outside. I'm in this little desk place that I've just turned into my workstation for the time being. And yeah, really. Okay, I know something happened with the audio. Let me try and fix it. It's actually with my USB mic. Let me try and see what it actually happened. Um, let's see. Is it better now? It doesn't recognize it. That's what it says. So I have absolutely no idea. Just wait for me a sec. I have no idea what happened with my mic. I really don't. I really, really don't. Yeah, I know it sounds weird because it's not coming from my microphone. I think doing okay. It should work now. Okay, it's better now. Okay, it's better now. We actually fixed it. But okay, what I wanted to really talk about in today's game is the fact that we returned to the 4-3-3 in a very good, stylish fashion. I think that the way that Koeman set up this game was better than the ones before, particularly because we returned to that formation, the 4-3-3. But most importantly, I would say because we have that connection up top now of Memphis Depay and Ansu Fati. Ansu Fati was very much on top of every single play that we had today. And the very same thing with Memphis Depay. I think that those two connecting is going to be better in the long run. And on top of it all, I feel that it creates and it gives Barcelona more chances to attack whilst also having the possibility to be more flashy in the way that they play. I believe that all of that put together is what really makes this side more compelling to watch because I know that a lot of you, for instance, are gonna be agreeing with me, and I want you to let me know in the chat down below. For instance, right now, I want you to let me know if you think this game was actually more entertaining to watch because, in my opinion, it was. It certainly was. I feel that this game gave me a little bit of a refreshing kind of look at what Barcelona can really be. Before, for instance, um, I just believe that overall Barcelona did a much better performance, and that actually has to be something that we must give credit to the players for. And Koeman, I think that Koeman actually did manage to set up a compelling side, a side that wanted to go out there, wanted to pressure, wanted to win the ball back, wanted to create something, wanted to show a little bit of the world that they are not as bad as they actually anticipated to be. The other thing that we must consider is that this is still a team that is lacking a lot of players. For instance, Serginho Dest was playing as a right winger, which in a way it kind of worked. It kind of worked. I saw actually after the game between USA and Panama that they, of course, streamed through here in the US. I saw some people commenting that perhaps Dest could have played as a right winger. And honestly, we kind of got that. We honestly got that. We actually got that possibility to see how he would actually play as a right wing, and it was good. It was good to see. I really like to see Dest acting as an agent of chaos. And this is not my quote; it's a quote by someone called Musa Okwonga, which is an editor for the Ringer FC, host of the Stadio Football podcast, which I really really enjoy. And he had to mention a lot about how these certain players, when they're given the opportunity to play in different positions, they can just really act to more of their best of their abilities, or at least enhance them. And that is what they called an agent of chaos. And I think the Senor Des today was proper good, because in this game, for instance, he didn't have to worry too much about defending. Of course, he had Cero Roberto in behind him, and most of the time, for instance, when we had a corner or a free kick, Des was even left behind to cover up for the fullback position, to be the last one standing, for instance, to be the last man and recover the ball because of his pace and trickery per se. And I just like that versatility that Des gave us for the right wing. I really do like that. In general terms, Barcelona's right backs were never really a complete fullback. They never were all about defending and just covering up as many spaces as possible. They were mostly about attacking and using their one-on-one abilities. And I feel that on the long term would actually bring Barcelona more fruitful decisions. I feel that if we gain someone like Dest in a proper system that knows how to convey itself, playing tiki-taka football, possession-style football with direct passing that we all like, I think Dest can really, really excel. So I just love that. I just really, really love that. We have Jar here saying Agent of Chaos is from the movie The Dark Knight. It is said by the Joker. I guess that's even a better reference. So good up for Jar right there. And the other thing that I wanted to mention, of course, was the return of Ansu Fati. He played 60 minutes, which wasn't... I would like to see more of Ansu Fati, and I would have anticipated for him to play a little bit more, particularly with this setup, particularly having already rested for around 2 weeks due to the international break. I think he could have been a little bit better overall, had more stamina. I certainly would want that, but I guess we just don't know just yet. I guess that perhaps it's better to just keep him like he's right now, where we can see that he's performing good. And he, of course, scored the very first goal. A very good... Well, sorry, I just hit the desk. A very good goal, finishing with his right foot outside the box. And I think that is the finesse. That is the finishing that... The finesse shooting, that is what I wanted to say. The finesse shooting and the finishing that we were lacking on our player, for instance, since Lionel Messi left. I think that clinical finishing is something that will bring Barcelona a lot of more results. That ability to turn draws into wins and losses into draws, all of that is going to be coming our way more with Ansu Fati. And I feel that overall it would just be better. For instance, here Jamil Savilon says, not a good game for Memphis. And particularly he wasn't all over the field, let's say, using his ability to break the lines and just get the score. And I think that was mostly left to Ansu Fati. That was left to Ansu Fati. I think that responsibility to finish the chances. But if I'm being completely honest, I really like Memphis in this game because of his creative facet, his ability to drop in deep, play as an extra midfielder in sometimes, and just carry the ball a little bit further forward, act as a wall for link-up plays, for instance, how the first goal came. I just like that overall. I really, really like that. I feel that Memphis will be better and will become better as this team progresses altogether. I think it will just become way better. And I also believe that Memphis Depay will benefit from situations like this, where we have this penalty, for instance, that he needs to score. It's been 13 penalties that he has taken, I think, in the last year and or so, and he hasn't missed a single one. So these moments where he can completely continue to build up his presence and bathe on the stardom, I feel it will bring Memphis a lot of joy, and certainly for Barcelona as well. Here Omar says, I've come to the conclusion that Memphis cannot pass. And okay, I get it. Memphis Depay sometimes, guys, and I get this a lot, and it's something that's just, I'm gonna be honest with you. There's something about Memphis Depay that frustrates me. And sometimes he will try the harder one-on-one. He will try to overcome his marker in a way that is overcomplicated and just too complex for him to handle the situation. I feel that sometimes he lacks that ability to just play simple, and that is sometimes, of course, gonna give us a lot of problems because we tend to lose the balls in areas where we shouldn't, and that is something that Memphis Depay has done in this game a lot. He lost the ball in some awkward positions and left Barcelona standing up very, let's say, very vulnerable in a way. Their setup was mostly up to be exploited by Valencia and Gonzalo Guedes with his space. And I feel that is a place where Memphis Depay could improve on. That is something that Koeman has to take charge on, and we have already seen Koeman in other situations be more frustrated, for instance, with those one-on-one situations. The Memphis Depay just want to use his skill to beat certain men. But for instance, in this game, we saw, let's say, out of 4 of those type of situations, there was one that actually came off, and that was in the second half where he was playing through the right wing, slightly floating through those areas position in our own half, and he had 4 players from Valencia in and around him, and he just stepped on the ball, la pisó, he pulled it back, he did a like a sort of Cruyff turnish thing with he didn't do a complete body twist, but just like stepping on the ball, curve it around one of the players, and he just completely managed to pass it to Sergio Des, who was coming in deep. So whenever Memphis Depay is able to win in those one-on-one situations and be able to overcome the pressure of the opponent, we're going to be seeing magical moments like this, moments that perhaps before they weren't an opportunity, a clear chance to score. But when Memphis Depay has that ability, when Memphis Depay does show that, we can certainly see ourselves having a wonderful player. So I think it's that he needs to find that balance between where it's suitable for him to try those magical techniques, for instance, but then also balance out where he needs to play just simple. Like, for instance, here says, I just read it. Where is this guy? I just read one of your comments. Oh my God, where are you? I literally read your comment that it was just about what I wanted to say. Where are you, dude? Dude, I completely forgot you. Where are you? I just saw a message that said that Memphis Depay could have passed to Agüero, and I just lost it. Here, Morxie says Depay could have played an easy pass into Kun. And I think that completely encompasses what I feel. Fadili Agali says, for instance, this is the first time we have a strong connected attack, but Memphis looked like he was in another universe. Let's hope he can improve and become more decisive and quick. I get that. Like, Notorious 26 as well mentions, Memphis was a little lost, to be honest. I was sure that Anson Depay will save Koeman ass. And that's the thing. I do think so as well. I feel that incorporation of Kun Agüero and that particular last-minute opportunity will make Memphis a little bit better, because he will realize that he needs to pass on to those players to be better, because Kun Agüero is a poacher striker. He's a striker that will work within the box, the 18-yard box, and he's gonna be able to exploit the opportunities if it comes their way. But if he doesn't, then we're gonna be all pointing to Memphis Depay. Kun Agüero is not a player who's gonna be creating chances out of nowhere. He needs some certain backup and some certain collaboration from his teammates in attack to be able to actually score. So I think that incorporation of a striker will benefit Memphis Depay a little bit in those situations. I think that playing more and more together will actually make them have better chemistry. And Kun Agüero would 100% go to Memphis Depay today and say, you know what, Memphis, I think you could have done this pass, this simple pass that could have been better for us. People are actually now mentioning that I should talk about the defense and particular 2 players, and I'm going to do that because we need to give them praise. The first one for me is Jordi Alba. I think Jordi Alba today, he still has those moments where he can really just run a left flank. When he doesn't have a particular difficult opponent in front of him, he just tends to dominate. He needs to be more consistent. Yes, he needs to be more consistent. Hugo Duro wasn't the best rival for him to test his true ability per se, but in the long run, in the long term of things, Alba still has it in him to provide you moments like this. He was constantly creative. He was constantly providing crosses, and he was really decisive in his combination with Ansu Fati. He knew when to overlap, he knew when to underlap, and it all worked very, very nicely. And the other player is Eric Garcia. Eric Garcia, I was making a video before I left Peru of a player review, a player spotlight, where I go in depth into what this player actually is. And I think that I will have some time this week to edit that and upload it to you guys. We talked about Eric Garcia in that video, more specifically why he's a better player for Barcelona. And he can be actually the player to fix the defense. And people are going to be coming at me and being like, wait, how is Eric Garcia going to be that player? He's supposed to be a very vulnerable type of center back. And yeah, I get it. But within a system, within a proper collective unity that actually plays coherent football and understands their roles, someone like Eric Garcia is going to be very viable and very useful, because his delivery, his passing, his sharp understanding of the game, his interceptions will make him a very, very will be make him a very deadly weapon from the back. Just like Lenglet was in a long time ago, how Umtiti was a long time ago. These players that when actually the system works, they can be good. Because let's remember, Umtiti, Lenglet, they were good players. Piqué, he was amazing. And the Pep Guardiola, because they all understand the role. Defense is not just about that single player, that singular player sitting in the back line. There's a lot more roles that need to be taken into account of. And if Eric Garcia can continue to perform like this today, learning off of Gerard Piqué, because they're similar players at their core. They're very similar players. I see him just improving vastly beyond the levels that we can imagine. I really, really do think that. I think Garcia was sharp, like I said today, not because of his speed, not because of his physicality, but because of his understanding of the game and his quick mind to read the passes, to read the pattern of play that Valencia were trying to create. And he actually nullified a lot of the threats. He was losing the one-on-one battles with Wales in the first half, but he quickly recovered in the second one. Garcia was really good today. And when, like here, when Walsado Sagma says, for instance, when Garcia is better when there aren't players in the pace in the opposition. And that is true. That is true. We still need to be able to work ourselves around pacey players, because let's say Piqué, Garcia, and Busquets, all of those three very slow players, being the main solid core that we have to defend, doesn't make me really happy. I think that Araujo needs to be there to help him with the pacey players. But overall, I'm gonna give Garcia a good rating. I think for this game, he really was good. Leo John asked me, who looks better, Pedri last year or Gavi this year? It's a difficult question to answer, but I think Pedri right now, well, not right now, you asked me last year. I think Pedri overall was better. I think that Pedri was able to maintain a consistent level, 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, throughout most games of the season, actually becoming the player with the most played games of the campaign. And I think that will be a very difficult thing to ask of Gavi. But Gavi started this season very, very brightly, and even better so than Pedri. So at this moment, from both seasons, I think Gavi right now is better, but Pedri maintained that level for a long time, and that makes you believe that, okay, this kid can be a real talent, because he's constantly playing gaming week in and week out, proper football. But with Gavi, for instance, we just have to see if he can maintain the sort of levels. So I'll just leave my answer on that. Intra Nocte says, I'm super high for Agüero. I don't know why. Honestly, this game has made me more and more hype for Agüero. Why so, may you ask? It's because I think we've been lacking that striker, that person who can just be more instinctive within the box. And even though Memphis Depay can be that some certain games, we know that Agüero will be able to provide with those crucial goals, like I said before, week in and week out. Overall, I'm really happy to see Agüero. He looks like a fit player for what Barcelona wants to do. And I'm just hoping that we can see more of him in the future. I really, really do. I think that Agüero can be a better player than what we saw, not at City perhaps, but in the last few years at City. In the last few years at City, I think that he was still crucial. He was still a wonderful striker. But at Barcelona, if he can be able to get that consistency, he'll be able to get that esa oh my, I still don't know the word in English. If they're able to provide Agüero with all of those chances, I think he will be good. And here I just read on Twitter a very cool statement from Koeman saying, I have trusted Coutinho since day one. And I think that is what Coutinho needed, honestly. Just someone to trust in him. I know that I told you guys when the season started, I said that Coutinho needed faith in him. And most importantly, we needed to recover Coutinho. I think that Barcelona right now is doing that. If Barcelona can recover Coutinho and make him a crucial player for what we can provide in the next few games, we can see a better midfield being able to link up with the front line. Because let's remember, Coutinho in Liverpool was one of those players, one of those key men in the midfield that would just control the entire game. He was the Messi of Liverpool at a time. And right now we don't have that. We don't have the Messi. And if Coutinho can return back to his very best, I think we can have a pretty good player on our hands. I really, really do. Because we did, right? At one point, we did have one of that player in our hands. I just hope that we can get him back. And I just hope that he can return to the best that we know he can be. Because Coutinho at its core, he's a very, very good player. And like I said, very creative. He can be dominant in the midfield. And this season, for instance, this game particularly, you can see that off the bench, he's been coming better than from the front line. I don't know why, but Coutinho looks better as a substitute for now. But I just want Coutinho to gain the consistency to become a starter. I really do. I think that Coutinho can be a very good player for us. I really do. What are you saying, guys? Where are you at? Agüero scored twice in his last game for City. I know what I meant. I know what I meant with that. It wasn't it wasn't one of my best moments. I just feel Agüero can be our finisher in the box, like you say. Thoughts on Gavi getting too many yellow cards? I don't really care. I don't really care. I think he's aggressive. I think he knows what he wants to do, and I just like that he goes in with a challenge with a purpose, and that's to win the ball back. I would never be mad for a player getting too many yellow cards. Getting red cards is a completely different thing because that means you're being stupid and you don't know how to margin yourself. And plus, Gil Manzano isn't the best of referees, if I'm being honest. He really isn't. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. I really wouldn't. Now we just need Haaland and the league. Sure. Coutinho is not in our best starting 11. Mats Piquera, Hodest, Ala, Frankie, Busi, Pedri, Ansu, Memphis, Dembele. That's another thing. I wanna see Usman Dembele. I think that Des today gave us a good idea of how a front three can be with a right winger. With a proper right winger, because Des isn't that, but he can at least give you some sort of idea. But it was a good combination. Ansu on the left and Des on the right. It was a very good combination. It really, really was. I hope that we can continue this. I really want to see more positive, intricate play from what Barcelona can do with our team. Because, like I said before, I think that Dembele in the right wing can be proper good. He can really, really be able to exploit what we need, create more space for the middle. Because that was Des gave you. He gave opportunity for Memphis Depay to occupy more central areas because there was simply more space, and for Ansu Fati to cover them as well. And there were many passes intricate through the middle where Ansu Fati just had that opportunity to find itself in deep. And the same with Memphis. And we could just score on goal, and I like that. I really, really do. I think that that's the best way that Barcelona can play. And even we have then someone like the Memphis and in the left, let's say, or Dembele for the right, or just Antoine Dembele, we're gonna have those spaces in the center for someone like Agüero if he plays. Even someone like Luke De Jong. All of these players are gonna be able to benefit from Dembele because his ability just to stretch the play is magnificent. It really, really is, and I am really excited to see how he returns on the side, just the same way as Agüero is doing now. Um, Overall, I want to see more of Agüero. I think I have to see more of him. Um, but like I said, Ansu Fati still. I think we can see a good team. I think we can build a good side. I'm mostly worried about the defense still because we cannot find ourselves with a very consistent back line, and we need a consistent back line to be good in the long term. But I think that but I don't know. I don't know. I just want to be back. I just want to be back. I just want Barcelona to continue like this, playing this football, because it looks good. It looks good. It's enjoyable. It really, really is enjoyable. Um, Jarno Geritze says, "Do you think Koeman should try taking out Busquets and put De Jong so that we can play Pedri and Coutinho further forward?" That's exactly what I would do. That is really what I would do. Um, I think that De Jong has to play in that CDM role, but then if we play in that CDM role, I'm not sure when we have that defensive outlook, that defensive output, sorry, to be able to cover for the spaces that we're eventually going to be leaving in behind, because our midfield then with just Coutinho, Pedri, and De Jong is not going to be as defensively aware. But I guess that you could have said the same thing about Iniesta, Xavi, and De Jong. But I don't know. I just feel that we need something else there. I think that Pedri is similar to Coutinho, Pedri being more defensive than Coutinho. But I would like to see another midfield there. I don't know. I just feel that right now it's good how it is, and let's try and continue with some consistency. I don't want to be changing too many things too fast, because then no players will adapt. It's not the same to have Coutinho in the midfield with, let's say, Busquets in behind him or Frankie next to him, because then if you put Frankie in behind him and then next to him Pedri, it changes completely, because the roles, everything is different. So I just want to find some consistency. I just want to see the same lineup twice in a week. I just hope that to be the case, because we haven't seen that in a while. We really, really haven't. I just want some sort of consistency, because we demand that. A good team demands consistency, and Barcelona should be looking for it. Buga, your thoughts on Sterling? Um, my thoughts on Sterling, I think he's a good player, but I don't know whether he will be the best at Barcelona right now, because he's not even the best at City. I don't know where would he fit in. I just don't want him to take time and space from Ansu Fati. I think that Dembele right now should be given an opportunity before he's even sacked or sold. So that's where I stand. Okay, so where we are now. How about the young Pedri Gavi? I think the young Pedri Gavi could work. I think it could work. Even the young Pedri Ricky Puig could work. I don't like CDM De Jong because he won't make those run-ins. That's another thing that I anticipate. I think that those runs from De Jong are good. They're proper good as well. They really, really are. But do you think Barca underwhelmed in the second half? I think we could have improved. I really think we could have improved in the second half. I think we could have been better. We lost a little bit of control, but I think it was mostly down to instruction from Koeman trying to be more withstanding with the energy, trying to maintain it and not perhaps give everything in. I think that eventually, if our team gets fitter, we find that consistency, like I mentioned, and we keep ourselves with a proper team that we can play week in and week out, find our starting 11. I think that then we'll be able to control more of the game for the most 90 minutes. But right now, I just wouldn't Right now, I just wouldn't count on it. I really wouldn't. Of Roberto, I think Roberto was decent. He wasn't the best, but he was decent. The one who really impressed me today was Ter Stegen. I think Ter Stegen really showed how good he could be. I really really do. I think that he could be better overall. Hopefully maintain this level for the entirety of the season. I just hope that can happen. I don't agree with Frank de Jong, Le Professor. I don't agree with Frank de Jong playing that bad. I think he was okay. Ashney Pereira says, if you could choose Haaland or Delic, who would you choose? I would choose Haaland every day. I think Araujo Delic would be a proper combination as well, but I don't know. I think Haaland is one generational talent. Delic is also very similar, but I don't know. I don't know. It's a hard one. Who would you like, guys? Let me do a poll. You know what? Let me do a poll right now. Let's do a poll. Who would you like? Haaland, Delict. Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. Vote, guys. Vote, guys. I'm gonna have. So, vote, guys, right now. I wanna see who you prefer. Oh, and by the way, guys, I got a pretty good news. I got a PS5, so that means we can do our FIFA career mode on HD, 4K, Ultra HD. We can do that. Okay, so who's winning? Haaland is winning by a landslide. With that being said, guys, do I need to mention anything else? Because I don't know where we at right now. We mentioned Agüero. We mentioned Ansu Fati. De Jong. We mentioned Ter Stegen. Coutinho. I guess we haven't talked about what that goal for Coutinho meant at the end of the game. I have to admit that redemption for Coutinho, the redemption arc that we are hope anticipating for him this season, I think it could actually be finally happening. I really do. I think that Coutinho will finally be able to get some consistency after this goal, hopefully. And I would love to see us play until Dembele is back. I guess Pedri is back. I guess my team would be actually until everyone is fit. And right now we still have to play with like gap players. I would put Busquets, De Jong, Gavi, Coutinho, Memphis, and Ansu Fati as the attacking players per se. Maybe I could even push Coutinho back, and if Agüero is ready to start more games, I would put Agüero. And I guess even with that, we have a pretty good team. We have a pretty good team with our players fit. I'm just happy for Coutinho, though. I really am. I feel that now, if he can get consistency after the injury, he can be back. Hopefully, he can be back. I just want him to be back so bad. Because, like I said, we need to recover him. Anthony Regimil says, please don't get led by the result. We're still playing as badly in every single aspect of the game. We were bad defensively. I'm going to give you that. Every time that a team attacks Barca at this current stage, we look vulnerable. That is something that we need to change, but that comes with consistency, like I mentioned, chemistry within our team. So if that doesn't get fixed, I don't see us going anywhere. So we must be able to improve in that way first, before we, right before we let ourselves, let's say, get carried away. So we must improve there first before we improve anywhere else. The other thing that I wanted to mention about what we need to improve on, of course, is I feel the initial press is not as good. Our initial press is very weak. Agüero came in and defended a little bit from the front line, which is good. But in the long term of things, I don't think he's going to be maintaining that for much longer. He's 32 years of age now, 30, going on 33. So I'm not sure. But right now he's fine. We have a very solid squad, but not a competitive manager. Yep. I guess that's the in a nutshell what Barcelona really are. Dest as a right winger, yeah, he was good. He was good. He was really good. With it, guys, I don't know where we stand in time. 35 minutes. 5 more minutes to go. Like, you don't know, 40 minutes is what we do here with these reviews. Our press is non-existent. I agree. Moidin Kelvin Adams says El Garcia will improve with experience, and I agree with that 100%. I really do. I want to see what will happen with Dest if he continues to play as a right winger, because he actually did fine. He actually did fine as a right winger. So I want to see how we go and lead on from there. Hopefully Dest can find himself a little bit more with experience in that position to actually see where we can improve from there. But like I said, I think he did fine. I want to see how he can improve though. So let's find out soon enough, I guess. Before leaving, I'm going to read this comment because I see it. Buga, we do still have an issue on our right wing backs making runs. On our issue on our wing backs making runs with the ball from the corners with no one in the middle to cross the ball to. Like, only Memphis is there, and that's too sometimes. I guess that happens a lot, frequently when you have a striker in the side. What we need from our fullbacks is to do what, for instance, Alfonso David does, which is cut inside. I think Des has that more in him than Jordi Alba. Des works better with his both feet. Like, I don't know if you know the term in FIFA, but like, for instance, 5 weak foot. That is what I would describe Des as. And I feel that generally, he's just a wonderful player. So I would count on him to get better at that. And we do require that. Jordi Alba is difficult with him because he's more of an experienced fullback now. And most of the time, even his crosses are not to the box, but mostly to the one man that he's being underlapped by or he's overlapping. So that's where I would consider. So for now, I really wouldn't look that as a problem. And Moidin Kelvin says, what I liked about Des, he knows how important it is to track back since he's a right back. Yep. Roberto out and Alves in. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't change Dani Alves right now. I wouldn't take Dani Alves right now. I really wouldn't. As much as it would be good and fun to see, I really wouldn't make him perhaps the starter. I wouldn't do that. So with that, guys, I'm gonna be signing off right now with this live stream. I really enjoyed you guys coming to watch the game, and like I said, stay tuned for all of our content we're gonna be doing this week. Maybe by the time we do El Clasico, I'm no longer in the US. I'm in England. So how fast things can change in a week, I think that's what's going to happen, honestly. I think that by El Clasico this Sunday or Saturday, I don't know when it is, we might be actually across the Atlantic in England. So that's going to be fun. I'm actually taking you on a world tour for this week. So this is going to be entertaining and fun for both you and me. So let's see ourselves in the near future. And yeah, thank you for tuning in, guys. I really enjoy it. Share this video with your friends, like the live stream, and I'll hopefully be able to upload some videos throughout the week as well. Of course, next Unwrapped episode comes with the game against Dynamo Kyiv, so stay tuned for that as well. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Ciao, ciao. Football is back. And